Monsieur le Président, il y a de ces moments où on voudrait
Mr.
tous avoir la
Speaker,
capacité de retourner en arrière
there are
et
moments
changer le cours de
which we
l'histoire.
all wish we could go back in
On
history
voudrait
and
tous
change.
que le 6 décembre 1989
We all wish that the
était
6th of December,
simplement une
1989,
autre journée normale
had just been
à
another
l'École
normal day
Polytechnique de Montréal.
at the
Pour
Ecole
ces
Polytechnique
14
in Montreal
jeunes femmes
for these
brillantes
14
qui ont violemment
brilliant young
perdu la
women
vie,
who
et pour
violently
les
lost their
autres
lives,
victimes de cet acte
and
lâche et odieux
for the other
dont on se
victims of
souvient
this
aujourd'hui.
cowardly and odious act
Dimanche,
that we remember today.
ça va faire 31 ans
Well,
qu'elles
for
sont dans
them,
nos pensées.
we have held them in our
31 ans que
thoughts
sont mortes
for 31
injustement
years this Sunday.
Geneviève Bergeron,
Geneviève Bergeron,
Hélène Colgan,
Hélène Colgan,
Nathalie Croteau,
Nathalie Croteau,
Barbara Daigneault,
Barbara Daigneault,
Anne-Marie Édouard,
Anne-Marie Édouard,
Maude Aviernick,
Maude Aviernick,
Maryse Lagagnère,
Maryse Lagagnère,
Maryse Leclerc,
Maryse Leclerc,
Anne-Marie Lemay,
Anne-Marie Lemay,
Sonia Pelletier,
Sonia Pelletier,
Michel Richard,
Michel Richard,
Annie Saint-Arnaud,
Annie Saint-Arnaud,
Annie Turcotte
Annie Turcotte,
et Barbara Kluchnik.
and
visage
Barbara
juriste.
Kluchnik.
Malheureusement, il est impossible de changer le passé.
Sadly, it is impossible to change the past, but we can still change the future. It is our duty to never forget the misogynistic, anti-feminist nature of this attack that struck Montreal, Quebec, and the entire country, that struck us at the very heart of our values. These women and girls in Canada and everywhere in the world should never have to fear succeeding, being ambitious, or fighting for a better future. Gender equality is non-negotiable. Today,
no parent should have to mourn the loss of a daughter as they did 31 years ago in Montreal. No family should have to hold each other in grief as they did in Portapique last April. Mr. Speaker, the gun lobby doesn't like it when we use the term assault weapon. They say it's a meaningless term. Well, let me tell you what is not meaningless. The lives of the people we have lost to these weapons. Canadians know that there is no place in our country for weapons designed to kill the largest number of people in the shortest amount of time. They know that these weapons were not designed to hunt deer. That's why, in May, we announced a ban on 1,500 models of assault-style weapons, including the Ruger Mini 14 used by the killer in Montreal on December 6, 1989. It is now against the law to buy or sell these weapons in Canada. Furthermore, we will be moving forward very soon with legislation to implement the rest of our commitments to protect Canadians from gun violence. We need to address violence, no matter where it happens, in public or at home. Women, girls, and people of diverse gender identities deserve to be safe and to feel safe. During the pandemic, Canadians have been asked to stay home wherever possible, to protect themselves and others. It's been difficult for everyone. So imagine how much harder it has been for those who don't feel safe at home, but don't feel like they have anywhere else to go. It's a simple fact. Gender-based violence has been made worse by this pandemic. That is unacceptable. In the past months, we've accelerated investments in shelters and transition housing as we continue to advance on a national action plan on gender-based violence. We've made important progress, but there's always more to be done. And we're ready to do that hard work alongside advocates, volunteers, and all those who are fighting for change. Monsieur le Président, au mois de mai,
Mr. Speaker, in May, we banned 1,500 assault weapon models, including the Mini 14 Ruger used in 1989 at the Polytechnique. These weapons are designed to kill people, and they have no place in our society. Moreover, we will soon introduce a piece of legislation to continue to deliver on our commitments in this area. As we continue to work to reduce the presence of these weapons, we also need to attack the very root of violence. We have a duty to be vigilant. We need to fight misogyny, discrimination, and hate everywhere, whether online, at school, in the workplace, or anywhere else in the course of our lives. We need to end the unacceptable violence and racism suffered by Indigenous women and girls. We need to create a safe environment with equal opportunities for everyone.
Today, the percentage of women studying engineering in many schools all over the country is higher than ever before. That's great, but I know we can do even better. It's important that we continue to take concrete steps to encourage women and girls to pursue careers in STEM fields. And it's important that we never forget why this is something to stand up for. We owe it to the victims at Ecole Polytechnique, and we owe it to all Canadians. Notre engagement envers la sécurité de nos communautés et envers l'égalité doit rester fort. Il faut continuer de nous tenir debout aux côtés des filles et des femmes, des minorités, des survivantes et des alliés qui luttent contre toute forme de violence. Monsieur le Président, la vie est fragile. Trop de tragédies comme celle de la Polytechnique nous l'ont rappelé au cours des dernières années. La vie est fragile et c'est pour ça que nous devons faire en sorte que nos valeurs, elles, ne le soient pas. Merci.
Mr. Speaker, 31 years ago, 14 young women were struck down in a horrible massacre at Polytechnique in Montreal. And as we remember them today, we can also tell Canadians that they live on every time a young woman receives her iron ring as an engineer. Every time we cross a threshold, like we did last week, of 100 women in this chamber, every time their friends and communities remember them, they live on. And 31 years later, our resolute defense of our values that were attacked that day stands strong, as does our commitment to fight even harder for equality, for opportunity, to live up to the values our country holds dear. So, Mr. Speaker, on somber days like this, when we remember the victims, let us recommit to ending violence towards women and to those vulnerable in our society. And in a pandemic, when worry and mental health is touching every corner of our country and every family within the Canadian family, let's make sure that no one is isolated, no one is forgotten, and that there is a zero tolerance towards violence in our society. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.